happens next if another financial institution runs into trouble. First Republic Bank of California becomes the third U.S. bank this week to be rescued from collapse. 11 of America's largest financial institutions agreed to pump $30 billion into First Republic to stabilize the troubled lender after its value tumbled Thursday during early trading, rattling markets and the bank's customers.
I was definitely concerned with the financial situation, after the two banks went under.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen announced the deal hours after trying to reassure Congress about the health of America's banking system.
To digest here, specifically that $153 billion that a lot of these funds are accessing for their discount window. For the record, this is not the funding program that we saw kind of kicking in over the weekend. And this is really important when we talk about it from a macro perspective, because at the end of the day, it is now being viewed as stimulative, some sort of form of quantitative easing. We'll get to that in a moment. But remember, $153 billion, nothing to scoff at there. And like I said, this is in addition to the bank term funding program that the FDIC and the FedStop used to backstop this past weekend of $11 billion. On top of that, just the cherry on top of a pretty bad Sunday, is the loans to the FDIC, $142 billion there. And as a kind of combination, this is really important because it's not just that 153 that's seen as easing. The discount window historically has been seen as something to kind of frown at, a little bit of a stigma. It looks like that stigma perhaps coming off just a little bit.
The deposits in every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of their size, be fully insured now. Are they fully recovered? Every bank, every community bank in Oklahoma, regardless of the size of the deposit, will they get the same treatment that SVB just got or Signature Bank just got?
A bank only gets that treatment if a majority of the FDIC board, a supermajority of the Fed board, and I, in consultation with the president, determine that the failure to protect uninsured depositors would create systemic risk and significant economic and financial consequences.
So what is your plan?
We made that determination.
Right. So what is your plan to keep large depositors from moving their funds out of community banks into the big banks? We have seen the mergers of banks over the past decade. I'm concerned you're about to accelerate that by encouraging anyone who has a large deposit in a community bank to say, we're not going to make you whole, but if you go to one of our preferred banks, we will make you whole at that point.
Look, I mean, that's certainly not something that we're encouraging.
That is happening right now.
That is happening because depositors are concerned about the bank failures that have happened and whether or not other banks could also
No,
fail.
it's happening because you're fully insured no matter what the amount is. If you're in a big bank, you're not fully insured if you're in a community bank.
Well, you're not fully insured. And
you were at Signature, and it just barely met that threshold. You were at Signature.
Well, we felt that there was a serious risk of contagion that could have brought down and triggered runs on many banks. And that's something, given that our judgment is that the banking system overall is safe and sound, depositors should have confidence in the system, and we took these actions.
So there's a special assessment that's been done on community banks in my state and all banks across the country. Was there any discussion that that special assessment would only apply to the larger banks, or was it always assumed the special assessment would cover every bank, including rural banks in my state?
I think I'm not certain what the rules are around that. That's for the FDIC to determine.